What's going on, Norman? How you doing?
I'm awesome, man. How you doing, bro? Thanks for the invite.
Yeah, no problem, bro. Of course, long time coming, man.
Yeah, a very long time coming.
Yeah, I think you was one of the first people I met out here when I came to Berlin. So
yeah, I think so. The first time when you came from New York, I think, with your friends.
Yeah,
and you did some shows for Alex. Yeah, at Space Medusa, I think we met.
Yeah, Space Medusa, right? It was you and that other Iranian dude that came through from LA.
Max Amini.
Yeah,
I opened up for him, and then we came through.
Ah, right. So it was right after.
I think it was one day before, one day after, because he was like, "Yeah, I want to tap into the German English comedy scene. I want to do some stand up. Can you connect?" And then I hollered at Gino. I was like, "Hey, bro, can you drop it? Can I have a drop in for Max?" And he was like, "Of course."
He was like, "You did it."
And then he did 2 English shows and also 1 German show, but also in English. And he had a great time. He's also a great guy.
Nice, man. Nice. So you were born and raised here in Germany?
I was born in the south of Germany, in Stuttgart.
Stuttgart,
yeah,
okay.
Stuttgart. And then my parents separated when I was like 2 years old or so. And then my mom moved with me to the western part, to Cologne.
Okay. So from Stuttgart to Cologne.
Yeah.
Oh, Koln, as you call it.
Yeah. You been there?
I have not been there, but I've heard obviously things about it.
Yeah.
You know, and Stuttgart, of course, I've heard about it. I don't know. I know that each city has their own specific differences.
Because, for example, in Stuttgart, they say they're all like cheap. They save up money. all they do is like work, save money, and buy a house. They say, like in Stuttgart, they say in Schwäbisch, that's the accent that they speak there. They say schaffe, Häusle bauen.
Wow. Okay, what does that mean?
It means like work, and build a house.
Damn. Okay, so I
That's
guess
a mentality.
A very rich area or something.
Yeah, kind of.
Okay.
Because all the industries in the south of Germany, like Porsche, Mercedes, BMW, Siemens, like all the big companies are in the south. So,
so it makes sense for somebody to keep on working because you got all the big companies down there.
Yeah.
Okay. So Stuttgart, Koln, but to go back or so, I think the most interesting thing is that you have Iranian, half Congolese. That is very interesting mix.
Yeah.
All right. And then you being born in Germany, so that's like another interesting, you know.
This complete like different dimensions meet, you know. So because like my dad came from Congo. He was he tells me like, you know, African dads, you never know what's true, what's not. Because once he told me like, because he was like a boxer, he was boxing in Congo, and the day when Muhammad Ali had the rumble in the jungle, he was like running beside him. And then he was like, "What, you see me in the videos, you have to take a real good look. You see me there? I'm right there." I'm like, "Bro, like really?"
Wow, he said that?
He said that. And he told me he was on the same college like Hakeem Olajuwon.
Wow, really? The basketball player?
The basketball player who always says, "Not in my house."
Yeah.
Is it him?
Yeah, I think that's him. Yeah. But yeah, he played for the Hawks. Or
the Hawks, yeah. And he told me that he knows him, that they went in Africa to the same college. So I don't know if this is true, but if it's true, it's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, African culture. So, because you don't know what's true and what's not. Because sometimes something crazy can be true. And you're like, yo, really? Like, oh, I didn't know that was even a cousin. Okay.
And then he has his receipts. Then like, here, look at this.
Yeah. You're like, oh, damn, sorry. I thought you was a liar, Dad.
And then also like he told me like one of your uncles is like a box world champion. And I didn't believe, and then he showed me on YouTube. His name's Kalambai. He was like, I think he moved to Italy, and then he became a world champion in Italy.
Wow,
it's crazy, bro. I have like crazy family.
Damn, bro. All right, so we talking to Congolese royalty over here,
royalty, guys. So he came from he told me like from Congo because he wanted a better life. So he went to Italy first. He studied in Italy, Napoli, and he speaks fluent Italian. It's crazy.
Really?
My dad speaks like 7 languages.
7 languages?
Yeah, he speaks like German, English, French, Italian, Swahili, Kiswahili, and Lingala.
What?
Bro, it's crazy.
That's a lot of... And he speaks it all fluently?
All fluent. Like sometimes he needs like some time. And it's like, and then all of a sudden,
Wow, 7 languages.
It's crazy.
Bro, what?
Also, one of my cousins, she lives now in Belgium, I think. She also speaks like 6-7 languages.
Man, that's the thing about it. I mean, Europe also too, African people that like migrate or go to other places. So many languages and they be able to keep it.
That's the crazy part.
Right.
Because I mean, you also speak like 3 languages?
I mean, bro, kind of. Yeah. I mean, I got English, but we got like Liberian English is basically English, but whatever. And then a little bit is Spanish. I don't know like my mother tongue from my the tribes from my mom and my dad. But even Spanish, bro, I've been learning that thing for for a decade now. I still
Un poquito.
Yeah, un poquito. Still a little bit, And these people, they know Italian, everything, all these languages is so crazy.
Because my dad's always like, it's so easy to learn like the Roman languages because you only need those, how you conjugate the sentences like daddy does, for example. This is all he needs. And the verbs. And then he can like figure out the language really quick.
Ah, okay.
So in his mind, it's easy. I don't know.
Yeah.
He can remember all the words. It's crazy.
Do you have that memory too? Or?
No, bro. I mean, I speak like 3 to 4 languages, but not like 100% perfect. Like I speak like Persian, like Farsi, English, German, and French.
Oh, French?
Yeah. Like also not 100% fluently, but I understand and I can like do the basic stuff. So if I would like tap into it much more or speak more French, then I could like also improve the language.
Wow.
Because like my dad's from Congo, is a Belgium colony. So that means all of Congo speaks French and Lingala. And my dad tried to give me the languages like when I was younger. He always called me up and tried to talk Lingala to me, but I had no like way to. I don't know why he talked all the time Lingala with me. I couldn't learn it. I don't know why.
Yeah, I mean, it's like so difficult if you don't have other family around you.
Yeah, it's crazy difficult. And I started talking. My mom taught me like with the age of 5 or 6, 5.5, because I had so many languages in my head, and I had like I created an own language. Only my mom could understand me.
Wow,
it was crazy. And then all of a sudden I could speak German, and then because like I said, like my dad came from Napoli, then we went to Germany, and my mom came after the king has fallen. The
Shah in Iran,
in Iran has fallen, and she has like 3 brothers, like 3 uncles. They all went to the States, and she also wanted to go to the States but didn't get any visa. So she thought, okay, let's go to Europe. She went to Greece, France, and then she came to Germany, and then she applied for the green card. And then like 10 years later, we got approved of the green card, but we didn't go because she had a job here in Germany for like 15 years or so, bought an apartment and stuff. So she decided to stay in Germany. So otherwise maybe I would have like been in the States.
Yeah. Well, I mean, now looking at the States nowadays, she made the right choice. Yeah.
Back then I was like, we have to go. Because then she came also to Stuttgart, and they met like in a workshop powered by the job center. They wanted to be like coder.
Oh, really? Okay, coder.
Yeah.
And that's where she met your dad?
Yeah, in a coding workshop, so to speak.
Wow. Man, that's some real, European love right there.
And you have to imagine, it was like back in the 90s in Germany. It's a crazy time to have like this ethnics, to meet. No, I mean, this should. But my mom told me she didn't face a lot of racism. This was crazy to me. Yeah.
She didn't.
No, she was like only one time we went like on a kermis.
What's that?
Like with the big.
The ferry, the
ferry.
The wheel with
You can shoot and everything. We call it kermis.
Oh, okay, the balloons or something.
Yeah, it's the whole thing.
Right.
We call kermis. It's like a big. I don't know what's called in
like
English.
A carnival.
No, it's like sometimes in Berlin when you go to places and then you can go with these horses. Will turn around and then you can do this. You can do that.
Like a festival. I don't know.
Like a small festival.
Small festival, okay.
Yeah, in Germany we say Kirmes. It's like you go with the family, you go there, and spend 1,000 euros. I don't know.
Oh, small things.
Yeah, it's fucking expensive. And then she told me like the one story that she held my hand, and then a woman came up to her and she was like, "From who's the child?" And she was like, "That's my son." "No, it cannot be. He's black." And then she tried to have a discussion with her mom. She was like, well, what the fuck's wrong with my son?
That's so weird.
Please leave me alone.
Yeah, why would you? Yeah, and you, by the way, you're creepy. Yeah. Like, let it be. Like, observe and just watch like everyone else.
Who are you anyways, you know?
Right. That's so weird.
That's the only thing she told me. And yeah, she told me, but still was a crazy time to be, because like my family back then didn't know that she was like dating a black guy.
Ah, they didn't?
No, I think like the first time I saw my Iranian family was by the age of 12. Mm-hmm. So we went to Florida, to Jacksonville, and visited my uncle. And I remember vividly when I first met everyone, everybody was kind of like,
oh shit, the eyes.
I was like, hey, love you, my favorite nephew.
Right.
But I saw like the faces of my grandparents first. Like my grandpa, he was like all in love, straight ahead. My grandma was like skeptical at first. Mm-hmm. So I felt that energy kind of.
Yeah.
And then I realized she didn't tell my Iranian side that she has a black kid.
Oh.
So it was like, she was like, fuck it, I just go there and that's it.
Wow, just blow it all open.
Yeah.
I wonder if when you first met your Iranian side of your family, when you start speaking Farsi, that they were kind of like, oh, they're like, okay, well, you know, this works out. Yeah.
I think that was a good thing, because my mom like teach me, of course, when you grow up with your moms. And because back then when I grew up, I was kind of ashamed to be like at this crossroads, because I was like the only black kid in elementary school, and then the only black kid who speaks Farsi and has a weird last name, you know. It's like, now it's like cool, but back then I was like, Stefan Müller, here, Lisa Schreiber, Norman Sultan Salah, yeah, it's me. No, how do you pronounce it? Salah? And everybody was like making fun of my last name then. It's a Salah.
And what's your actual like last? I know Sosa, but
Sultan Salah.
Wow. Hold on. Yeah, this is my first time hearing your last name. Okay.
This is why I say Sosa, because somebody, like, I tried my two last names, and then every time somebody announced me, and now for you, Norman Sosa. And I'm like, what the fuck, man? Don't rape my name.
Oh, shit. At first I was sitting there, I was like, man, that teacher, what an asshole. And you said, I was like, yo.
Yeah, I understand him.
Even my eyes. Oh, shit. That is, damn, I feel embarrassed. Because you said it, I was like,
yeah, what an asshole.
I'm trying to break it down. I'm like, Zula, what?
So this was crazy back then. And I never knew what my last name means. Mm-hmm. And then my uncle explained me. He was like, Sultan means king, and Salashur means kind of like being proud. So my two last names are proud king. Mm-hmm. And this goes back to my granddad, because he was a sultan in Iran, like, so to speak, a king.
Oh, wow.
From a province in Iran. And then when he died, my grandpa should have taken over, but he was too young. So his cousins took over and took like everything, all the assets, like family stuff. But then my grandpa, he was like a wrestler, and he was like one of the best wrestlers in Mashhad. It's like on the border to Afghanistan. Mm-hmm. And also in Tehran. And then he was like a big realtor.
Yeah, with the properties.
Yeah, properties. And he had a lot of properties in Tehran, and he was like a mogul and stuff. But then my uncle told me he was addicted to opium at some point. So he didn't know that, because he also had like land and animals and stuff. And then a lot of people came through and stole his sheep and everything. And then he was like, where are my animals? And they were like, yeah, the wolf. The wolf came by and took him, and he didn't like realize, because he was like high on opium and stuff. So he had this time of being addicted. Then his older brother like helped him to come out of this addiction. And then the Shah fell, and then like my mom and her brothers like fled to the States and to Germany.
Have you ever been back to Iran?
I wanted to, but my mom's always like, "Don't go. It's dangerous. They put you in prison." I don't know. She tells me like the wildest stories. But I have friends, Iranian friends, who went and nothing happened. But I have like one friend. I met him in Cologne. Also, he also fled from Iran, and he had like the craziest story. He went by foot from Iran to Turkey.
Whoa!
Because he paid like some guys to handle him to Germany, and they went through the desert, and he told like crazy stories. Then they went to the halfway house, chilled there. They had to wait. Some people couldn't make it, and he carried like one woman on his back and tried to help her. It was a crazy story he told me, and he told me like Iran is like a nice country to be, but the thing is like, for example, he was running down the street, just doing some errands. And then the Sharia police came too, and they were like, "Yeah, do you have your ID on you?" And he was like, "No, I forgot it at home." And then they took him and put him in prison because his family, they were on vacation, so he couldn't like call no one, and so he had to wait until they came back and could like give him the proof of the identification.
Wow,
there's like crazy things he told me. So he said like it could be like maybe dangerous for you, but if you're lucky, nothing will happen. So maybe my mom is partly right, but I think she's like exaggerating.
I mean, because obviously she has her trauma with it and stuff. But then I would imagine too, if you go back there, you being a black dude and then seeing the last name and then you speaking Farsi, like it would be so much for them to process. They'd be like, you know what, just go to jail.
Just put it in prison. I don't know what to do. Just guys, put it in prison. But.
I'm like, yeah, I can't figure this out. Just lock him up. you hurt my brain. I won't get paid enough to have my brain being tested like this. Just put him in jail.
But the thing is, like in the south of Iran, you have like black people.
I've heard, yes.
From the slave trade back in the days, I don't know what decade, but from East Africa and Iran, they had a slave trade going on. So this is why there's like a minority of black people in the south of Iran. And this is why a friend now, a woman came up to me like a few years ago. She's from LA, and she's also half Congolese and half Iranian. It's crazy, bro.
Wow.
I was like, huh? I thought I would be the only Pokemon, rare Pokemon in this universe. And then we also shared like the same challenges in life and stuff, but she's like crazy. Her name is Priscilla. She's also like a screenwriter. Then she's also like a activist. She's a human rights attorney. She speaks like all the languages fluently, like Persian, French, Lingala, English.
Wow.
She's like really, it's crazy. So she collected all of us. We are like 5 people, like Pokemons, like really like, because everybody stands at the same intersection. Like there are like 2 girls also they're from Salt Lake City, I think. Half Congolese, half Iranian. Now one of them lives in New York also, or both of them. Then one of them lives in France, in Paris. He's half Togolese, half Iranian. And the other one, his parents are from the South Iran, so they are also black. And we co-founded, so to speak, this organization, non-profit called Collective for Black Iranians. And the first mission was like to change, to like tell the real narrative of the South of Iran, because the Iranian people fought for a long time that the black people in the South of Iran are black because of the sun. Because because the sun is stronger, so that's why. So they don't know the real history. So we had a historian and everything, and she digged up the whole history of the south of the Iran and the African diaspora, how they met, how they merged, and everything. And the first mission was like to portray real stories. So she went to the south of Iran and met some kind of people who were artists or musicians and stuff, and everybody told their own story, how they came up in Iran, what challenges that they face and stuff. And now the mission changed. Now the Collective for Black Iranian is, so to speak, a hub, an artist hub for people who are standing at the same intersection, like us, like I don't know, like artists, like authors, like musicians, like everybody who's like in some kind of artistry.
Yeah. Okay. And we'll talk more about that later, but I want to get back into when you grew up in Germany, right? Because I mean, you basically like a third culture kid on a different level. Like, I mean, you got the Congolese culture, you got Iranian culture, you're in Germany, the south of Germany, which I heard here is very conservative in some places, right? So like, how was it growing up as like I guess in quotes, a black kid, but like half Congolese, half Iranian last name?
Bro, I had a lot of identity crisis because I can remember I came to Cologne when I was like 2 or 3, and then my mom had to work and had to put the food on the table. So she brought me to a daycare mom, and I spent from Mondays to Friday. I spent at her place with other kids, and on the weekends I stayed at my mom's place. So I grew up like in my young years with the German culture because the daycare mom was German. So she conveyed me a lot of German values and German food, and also those. She was really strict. Also, like you come home from school, you have to do your homework, then you have to eat, or you have to eat, do your homework. Then you can watch television for 1 hour. 1 hour, always 60 minutes, and then she said, "Oh, okay, and go play, go outside, do something. You can't sit in front of the TV all night, all day." So this was like a challenging time because I was like the only black kid, of course, in this in their daycare facility or at her home. And because at first I thought I was like German, kinda, because like when I went to kindergarten, the kids didn't really like make a difference, like in skin tone and everything. So everything was cool. But then when I went to elementary school, then I felt like, okay, I'm different. I'm like, okay, I'm black. I knew I was black, but I didn't really knew that I was black, you know?
Right.
I don't know how to explain this because I grew up like with white people all the time. And then you come to a place that like only white kids. There were like only one more black kid in the school. And every time when he fucked up, they thought I fucked up. So the teacher came to me, "What did you do? This? And it wasn't me." "Yes, it was you. I saw you." And he also looked like me a little bit, you know? This was like the bad part. It wasn't like just because I'm black, he literally looked like me.
Oh, damn. So you couldn't play the black card, really?
Yeah, I couldn't. So, when I was in elementary school, I faced a lot of racism, bro. It was like really hard. Like sometimes, like you probably know the story. Because when I visited my daycare mom, she told me the story. She was like, "Yeah, one day you came home, you were crying. You were, after you went to the shower, you wanted to like rub off your melanin, your skin tone, because you were like, I want to be like everyone else. I don't want to be black. I want to be white." And this like the things that I face on a daily basis, because like I was different, and every of course every kid was like, "Why are you black? Oh, ha, fucking nigger, ha." And then we also had some Nazis in the neighborhood and stuff. There was also like one story, and still to this day I wonder why he didn't pick me. So we were on the playground. We were like 5-6 years old or so. And then a Nazi came through. He was like 12, 13, 14. Came with a bat, like a baseball bat. Had his head was like completely bald. Had like his jacket on. And then he was like, "Kids, come here. Everybody sit down." And then we were like 6-7 kids, and he went with bat like The Walking Dead. He just like was passing us with the bat and looking us into the I will take someone and I will beat him. And I was like, "He will take me because I'm black. He has to take me because I'm black." And then he was like stopping in front of me, pointing at me. I was like, "Oh no." And then he took my friend. He was a red-headed. And then took him, he like tied him up to the tree, and then he hit him. I was like, "What the fuck?" So we called his brothers. His brother was like, I don't know, famous in this neighborhood. And then they looked for him, and then they clashed. It was crazy.
What?
Bro, I saw some crazy shit, because at that time the Nazis were like on the rise somehow, just in this area.
Yeah.
Because there was only him, and then there were 2, 3, 4, and everybody was like showing publicly that they are like Nazis, like they have the skinhead, the jacket, then the boots with the white laces and stuff. So I was always scared when I passed them, because I thought like, wow, hopefully they don't, I don't know, come at me, you know.
I mean, right, 'cause you're the only black kid in that
they
neighborhood.
didn't do nothing. I was like, wow, I'm fucking lucky, man.
Whoa, my mind is blown on so many levels, bro. So you was in a neighborhood that had Nazis. So the Nazis was the gangs out there.
Yeah, it was a gang. It was basically a gang. And also like, I did a lot of martial arts when I was younger. I started with judo, and I had like a best friend. He was German. And I remember I was like soccer on a football practice. And then I went home, and then I saw him at the bus stop sitting. I was like, hey, bro, what's poppin'? La, 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 la. It was like a few years later when we had the judo classes together.
Yeah.
And then he was like this, I'm good, bro. How are you? And I'm like, what's wrong with you? And then I didn't see like his friends. And then I looked up and saw his friends, everybody, skinheads, white laces, boots. And I was like, oh, you became a Nazi? He was like, yeah, kinda.
Kinda?
Yeah, I'm like, what? I don't think it's kinda like you literally have your head is bald, you shaved your head, and you got the white laces. I mean, we were best friends.
Right.
What happened? And then he was like, I can't talk to you. And I was like, all right, have a nice life, I guess. And then I went home. I was like, crazy, bro.
Bro, this is wild to hear because, like, look, I grew up in a neighborhood that had gangs as well. So this sounded like almost something similar, but obviously in a weird context. Yeah, Nazis. You know, you're a black dude. These are all white people that are in this gang, right? And I guess with this friend, I'm wondering if your friend was the person that let people know in the neighborhood, like, hey, look, he's actually good in judo class. Don't mess with that dude. He's actually the black Jackie Chan.
Does this make sense then?
Yo, you was the black Jackie Chan out there, yo. It was like
Maybe.
They was not messing with you. You had somebody on the inside. Man, good thing your friend converted, yo.
Yeah, man. I got someone on the inside.
It's like, yo, that one black dude in the neighborhood, don't mess with him.
Everyone but not him.
He will throw you on your ass. Your bald head will touch the ground first, so you mess with him.
Yeah,
wow.
Man. I think I was like the only, like me and the other guy, we were like the only black kids in this whole area. I mean, in this area there live 100,000 people. It's like close to Cologne. I don't know if you say suburbs or so. I don't know. It's like an area. It's like if you go to it's like Wedding.
Yeah.
For example, also 100,000 people. And I was like the only black kid with him. Like in this whole, I think I never saw like anyone else except us both. Wow. Both of us. And also like one more, like one of my best friends. We were like 3 to 4 black kids in the whole area.
Wow.
So everybody knew like, there are only like 2 or 3 black kids. And then when I started to do some sports and stuff, then I saw like slightly more, and then we all like bonded to this day. Like I know them for 15 years, 20 years now. My 6 best friends are all black. We all came up in the same neighborhood. We were like the only black kids at that time, so we all bonded like instantly.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Man, that is I didn't know that the place you were in also had Nazis too. That's crazy, just on many different levels.
Yeah.
So yeah, you definitely went through it, man.
Yeah, because I was scared like all the time because they didn't do like anything, but you always heard the stories like they were fighting this and this, the Turkish people.
Oh, so they have fights against other people in that area too.
Yeah. So I was always like, I don't want to mess with them. I don't. They look scary because I was like 6, 7, 8 years old. So I never made eye contact or something. I just went straight home when I saw them or switched sides of the roads and stuff.
Yeah.
And luckily never anything happened to me.
I mean, word got out, man.
Yeah. Out of the hood, then that was crazy. So
man, that's a hood on a different level, man. Like, I mean, not even hood, but I don't know if there's like.
No, it's not really like. Yeah, I don't know. You can't compare it to like New York, to the Bronx or Brooklyn. I feel like
because Nazi has like a lot that it has a lot of connotations. Like, I mean, you know, gangs or whatever in like, you know, New York or Jersey or whatever. Like, you know, they yes, it is dangerous and stuff like that, but it's kind of like based around. I mean, I ain't gonna lie. Sometimes just people from your neighborhood that you know that looks like you. So like, it's not like the deviation or the separation from you and that person is not too far. Whereas like in your situation, it's like
completely
multiple levels, and them levels are serious. So it's like, nah, no, oh, you know, he on this. It's like, nah,
it's like ideology, you know, it's like a completely different mindset.
Yeah, and you in a country where that shit, you know, so it's like so many. Yeah, man, that you went through it when you was growing up, man.
Yeah. Because back then I didn't realize. Back then it was like normal. Like when you grew up in the hood, for you it's normal because it's a thing you see all day. And I think it wasn't like I didn't have like a bad coming up or so. I mean, my mom wasn't poor or so I had everything that I needed. But still, the people around were like, I don't know, like at like the Turkish people and the Arabs. Because in the first 7, 8, 9 years, I thought like I'm German, kind of like, because I was ashamed of my Iranian side a little bit, because everybody was like, "Is this your mom? Hey, how does this work? You're black and your mom is white," and then people didn't understand. So I was like, have Iranian." They're like, "Oh, what?" And I wasn't like really proud of it because I was ashamed, because I had this identity collapse because I thought it was German. Then people like, "Oh, you're not German, you're black, you cannot be German. Are you American?" And I'm like, "No, I'm not American, but I have family in America, so maybe I'm American." So I was looking for my identity all the time. And then at some point, my mom like connected me with my Iranian side. So we went, like, for example, water skiing here in the western part of Germany. They have like some water ski, how you say,
a little tube or something.
Yeah. Then they take you around and stuff. So we went there with like a lot of Iranian kids, and we camped there and stuff. Wow. So I got more in touch with my Iranian side. So at that point I was like, okay, maybe I'm Iranian.
Okay.
And I had a lot of Turkish friends and Kurdish friends in school, because I went into a school who was located at a, it was kind of like a ghetto, but not like, because when I went to America, I saw like real like ghettos. So
you was like, oof, nah. It's like, ain't nothing like that over here in Germany.
Yeah. I mean, they call it ghetto because like there are a lot of like Turkish and Arab people, and they don't care about the environment. Everything's dirty and everything looks rough and everything looks not new, you know? So I went at this school, and there were a lot of violence, fighting. I don't know, a lot of criminals went there, like were around the school. They were selling drugs and stuff. So I hung out with those people, and then I thought like, yeah, maybe I'm like them. But then I realized, no, I'm not really like them, because I'm always different because of my skin tone. Because everybody's like, "Yo, bro, can you rap? Yo, bro, hey, yo, nigga. Yo, nigga. Sorry, bro. I'm just reciting those lines, you know? Don't take it personal.
Wow.
Nigga." Like,
even out there.
Yeah, bro.
You know how crazy, it's crazy how universal certain things from America even happens in Germany. Yeah, like, even with saying nigga, like, they know it's bad, but still saying it, but they're not even from the place in which that is so interesting every time.
I never get it. I'm like, why do you have to say the word? Like, they have like this Tourette syndrome where they have to say bad things.
Yeah.
And I was like I'm like, also like friends. They were like, no. And they're like, yeah, nigga. And I was saying, what's up? And I'm like, why you say this word? Bro, sorry, man. Because I heard the song yesterday, and don't take it personal. Or like every time when I went to school, I had to go because I took a shortcut through a refugee housing. And they were like the gypsy people, Sinti and Roma, were there, and they always called me nigga. Like every time when I like went through this shortcut, they came up to me like, "Hey, what's up, nigga? You wanna fight, nigga? Nigga, come on, let's fight." I always had to fight because I was always late to school, so I was almost by myself.
Yeah.
And every time when I went through, and they were always waiting there for me, and I was like, oh, all day, every day.
Oh wow!
So I had like to fight for several months, like every day. Like I had to fight with them. It was crazy.
Damn, bro. That is crazy. Yo, I'm not gonna lie to you. It, like, coming from America, it's crazy to hear you having similar experiences at a racial level than like a person in America would have as well. Like, that sounds like something from the South or whatever, or like some part of the neighborhood where you're only black person, which you was. of like dealing with that. But what's even crazy is that, all right, that word, obviously we know where the word nigga come from, right? But it's like, it's an American-esque thing that's being applied to Germany, to you, in a way that it would be applied to a black person in America. Is very
it's different levels, has levels to shit. Because the thing is like, you have to imagine, like my generation, I was born 86, and this generation had no black identity when we were coming up. So we looked for our black identity, and we found it in America, in the Menace to Society. Here, Boys in the Hood, even Scarface, I don't know, like this kind of movies. And also like Will Smith, Prince of Bel-Air, when this series came out, then everybody was like, Will Smith, my role model. We have to behave like this. And then the 90s, 2000 hip-hop came to Germany. Then you watch the videos, DMX, Fabulous, I don't know. And then everybody started to dress like this, baggy pants. And then everybody was like, yo, what's up, what's up? And you have to imagine, we all know our roots, right? Everybody knows he's from Uganda, he's from there, he's from there. And everybody wanted to be American. Everybody dressed like Americans, bro. Everybody talked like Americans. They were like, yeah, nigga, what's up? What's poppin', nigga? You know what I'm saying? And nobody really could speak English, you know, except except the English-speaking African countries, you know.
Bro, this is so wild, yo. Oh, because you guys have a connection to where you're from, but then that American culture is just, that pull is so strong.
Too strong, bro.
Man, this is interesting to hear, because even growing up too, like I grew up, you know, when like, you know, the early 2000s people rapping, you know, all that baggy clothes and things. And then even to hear that it went so far as to even Germany,
bro,
to where it's like, oh, people start dressing like that or start referencing black culture like that. It's so
influenced a lot of black people in America, because like I said, we had no, to this day maybe, there's no real black identity in Germany, because Germany is always like a copycat. They're always taking something from somewhere else and they put it, they like use it for their purposes, but they don't come up with an own identity, in my opinion.
Okay.
And back then was like completely America, bro. If back then in 2000s, like 2005 to 2006, if like they were like NFL Europe, and then all the American football player came to Germany, bro, the girls went berserk. Bro, they had all of them girls. All they have to say is, yeah, I'm American. Oh my God, he's a real American, not like you fake.
Yeah. Oh my God, you're from down the street, get away. Oh my God, y'all went to school with you, get out of here.
He's a real American, come on, let's go. So this was like really like also me, because also like I went to the States because I visited my family on a regular basis. So I was like completely into the American lifestyle. I went to always to Jacksonville to visit my uncle. I went shopping there, came back with the new clothes.
Oh, you was the man.
Yeah, bro.
Oh, that's
at the academics, I say this is the
academics and Nietzsche. You know, yeah. You probably had the pants with like the little NBA teams on there.
Yeah, bro. I also had like the big ass, like a fake jacket, big ass fake jacket with the NBA patches on it.
Oh, you was killing it at school, bro.
I had the headbands, like Nelly, 2 of them.
Oh, you had the 2? You probably had the one with the NBA on the front? Oh, bro.
And
you was killing
one with the Jordans also.
Oh, bro. Yeah, bro. Oh, your school was good for you, bro.
Yeah, bro. I was really killing it. Like, really, I was like into the American lifestyle. Like, really. This was so fucking crazy, because this was like, in my head, I was like, I'm American. Because also like I have like ties to the States because of my family, and back then I thought like we were moving to the States. Like I said, my mom had the green card and stuff.
Yeah,
and I was like, yeah, finally we go to the States. Finally we go to a place where like where I can see my peers and stuff, you know. Because when I came to the States, I was like, boy, there's so many black people.
Oh, especially in Jacksonville, yeah.
Yeah, the police, black police officers, black firemen. Like when I watch TV, I see black people like doing everything. Like if you watch TV in Germany, even to this day, where do you see like black people in commercials or see black people in series or movies? You maybe see like 1 or 2 but in America you have whole black series, whole movies of black people, you know. So everything was like different for me. I was like, this America's a place to be, because here I'm the only one. I'm always the special one, you know.
Yeah.
Especially when I'm standing at the intersection, like being Iranian and being Congolese, and I was like, what? How did they meet? I mean, like Africa and Asia.
Yeah,
it's impossible. And I'm like, always, they met on a refugee boat towards Germany. I don't know.
It's like that's just the only way it could be, right?
Yeah, it's the only way it could be. And this was like the crazy thing. And then when I was like 12, 13, 14, I met like the black guys in my area. So because I went to football, I played football in a team. And then one black guy came from Munich. He just moved to Cologne. And the other guy, he was also like born and raised in this area. And then I remember the first practice we had. We were looking at each other. Yo, bro, what's up?
Wow, so universal. It's just like, yeah, what's up, bro, man? We out here alone, yo.
Let's change digits. Let's stay in touch. And since that day, we've been like one best friends. You know, it's crazy. Since to this day, it's crazy. It's because we had so many. Because I didn't been there. That, for example, they had a big fight. My friend and the other friend of mine, and on this day I was like somewhere else, and they went to the kermis, like the with the wheel and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then back then we used to fight with the Turkish and Arab people always, because I don't know, they didn't like us.
Mm-hmm.
So they had a fight with the whole crew of them. Like they were 2 and the other were like 10, and they won. And after this, never again they put a hand on us. Wow, it was crazy. Then they had the respect because of my 2 friends. So it's crazy.
Wow, so there used to be a lot of fighting back then too.
A lot of fighting, bro. Because the place I went to, in Germany, say sozialer Brennpunkt is like a social melting pot of different cultures, because you have to imagine, like a lot of Kurdish people, they fled from the war, a lot of Turkish people, a lot of Arab people, and if you put them all together, often clashes for some reason. So
I guess different cultures.
Yeah, different cultures.
Yeah, different cultures, different history.
Yeah.
I mean, you got the Ottoman Empire, you got this. Like, yeah, there's always like some historical beef that happened centuries ago that you be like, oh yeah, that's a.
And people say it's a cliche, but I experience like Arab, Turkish people are much more open to violence than other people, is what I experienced. Like, I mean, one of my best friends is Kurdish back then, and he was like this. If somebody talks to him badly, he was losing it like within seconds, and then hitting him. Bam, 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 bam. It was crazy, bro. I saw so many crazy fights. It was like so many fights, and from 5th grade to 10th grade was like so many. Like people came to our school, they were looking for some people. Like, for example, there was like one situation, a teacher hit on a girl, and then the girl's brother came through. He was also Turkish, and shot him with a gas gun, you know, in his face. And then he was like taken to the hospital. He never came back. I mean, I was kind of happy because I didn't like him. But
Yeah. It's like, whew, man, I was sick and tired doing that homework.
No, he was my art teacher, and I had to do some artsy thing, and I showed him, and then he was like, this is bad, it's not holding. And then he ripped it apart and put it on the ground. I was like, that son of a bitch. Nobody liked him, actually.
Man,
so.
German education rough, yo. They rip art pieces in front of you? I never heard that before.
Yeah, because it was special. Also, like, there was like another teacher. His name is Mr. Schneider. I remember vividly. And he drew kids into the trash. Bro, this only in the 90s, 2000s you can do that. Imagine nowadays, a teacher draws a kid in the trash. Like, he literally took this kid, 5th grader, opened up the trash and put him in the trash.
We talking about the outside trash?
Outside trash, like, in front of the school, like the big one, the big things.
Are you serious?
Bro.
That's no baby trash. That's like some serious
bro,
industrial waste. Oh,
and he didn't lose his job. Also, like one time we were like in the class, and then he did this thing, and at some point he looked at me. I don't know what happened, and he said, "What up, nigga?" Something like this.
The teacher.
The teacher, the Mr. Schneider. And then my Kurdish friend, he stood up. He's like, "You can't say this. I go to the head of school. I will tell him la la la." And and then he had to apologize afterwards. But it was like it was a crazy thing, bro.
Yo,
like completely like if imagine nowadays they would say words like this on social media would blow up. But back then you had no social media, you had no proof, really. Like, and it's Mr. Schneider. He's a little bit crazy. Yeah, it's okay. You know?
Oh, that's wild. That dude, man. Because I mean, school back in the 90s and like
different.
Just different, man. Fighting and stuff. That was like common. Even like the high school I went to, like they used to have like days planned for fighting. Yeah. Like the whole school knew this is the day.
And everybody meets there. Everybody watches.
Yeah. And everyone, even the teachers, everyone, even the principal, everyone knows. Even the police, the whole neighborhood. It's like, oh, this is what happened to me when I was a freshman. Yeah. This is what happens. Yeah, you had something called a freshman beatdown. It's like after the pep rally, the big time where everyone's playing like a game or something. After, like it's usually at the end of the school day. And then after is when that freshman beatdown happened. If you was a freshman, all the upperclassmen will come and like beat up on you.
That's crazy.
I'm talking about you have to let them beat you.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah, so you can fight back a little bit, like kind of shove, but the minute you punch somebody in the face, then they start punching. So they'll like pick you up, slam you on the ground. I'm talking about like pick you all the way up in the air and just on a concrete, boom, put you against the bus and everything, like slam you, like throw you into the bushes. Yeah, that was a planned thing. Like you knew it for years that this will happen to you. As soon as you get to this grade, you will get beat up.
And did they do it to you also?
Nah, I had a plan, bro. I had a plan, man.
I was thinking about it.
Yo, this is what happened, right? Yeah. So it was like the pep rally. This is like where we're on the bleachers and they're playing like a basketball game. It's like a game they play, big basketball game. And then after is when they will do it. So everyone knows what's about to happen after this. So we're all planning how do we, so people are making like little gangs and stuff, a little bit like, all right, man, which way are you going to after school? Are you going here? Are you going there? Let's stick together. So for me, I knew that, okay, whoever is going to be sticking together, they're going to know they're freshmen. So I was like, yo, I'm going to stay alone. But I brought myself some clothes. I brought myself extra baggy clothes and a hoodie that could really cover my face, different shoes. I had like a whole wardrobe change. I'm like, yo, whoever saw me come in here, they won't see me in the same outfit coming out, right?
Smart, yeah.
So after the pep rally's done, there's only 2 exits to go to. They got the one exit, you go through the school and you got to go onto the front. And we're like, yo, I don't know. That might be too easy. They may know where we coming from. Because they waiting. We don't know where they coming from.
Oh, wow.
So, or we got the one where you go outside on the side. And it takes you to the side of the school building, and then you go out to the side. But the thing is that it's closed. It's like an alleyway almost. You have like the school building on the left, and you have the bushes on the right. So everyone's like, all right. So the doors open. It's like, all right, you got to leave. The teachers, you got to leave. And the teachers know. Yeah. That's the crazy thing. They know what's about to happen.
Have fun.
Yeah, have fun. You guys have to leave. They open the 2 doors. Pick a choice.
And don't take it personal.
Right? So everyone's like, all right. So some people, they went into the side inside the school and to go out to the front. And a lot of us went to the side, right? So we went out to the side exit, and where we walking, everyone's nervous. Everyone like don't want to be first because we know what was going to happen, right? So we walking. For me, I got my head down, acting like, I just need to get to where I need to go to. And then so we go, and then you just saw a whole group of upperclassmen come like right around the corner, just come and block the path. We're talking about like 20, 30 dudes. Wow. And then the main dude, he was like a dude that I knew that lived on my street. So I knew him, right? So I didn't want to look him in the face. Yeah. So he's like, hey yo, where the fuck y'all going? So he was like, he's like, y'all know what time it is? It's freshman beatdown, bitch. So then, I mean, these dudes ran and just tackled people, grabbed people. So I got my head down, and I'm talking about all my friends getting yanked, thrown down on the ground. So I'm just like walking down, hands in my pocket, acting like, I'm just going where I need to go. So I got my head down. So I'm walking. All my friends getting beat up. I'm seeing people get punched in the face, everything, right? And the teacher's watching. I'm saying like teacher's watching, right? So then when I make it about, I don't know, like about a far enough distance, I run all the way home. I live like 30 minutes away. So I'm running. I get back home, man. I come back. All the freshmen on my street all have like messed up face, bloody face, lumps on their face. And it's like, man, that's messed up what they did to us, man. What they got to do there? I'm like, yeah, that's crazy. Wow, yo, that's wild. And it's like, man, why your face look clean?
I have internal bleedings.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, I told one of my friends like, yeah, actually, I didn't get hit, this and that. He's like, what? And then he started screaming to everyone on the streets, like, hey, yo, he get beat up. He get beat up. Yo, go get him, get him, get him. I went inside and I didn't come outside for like the whole like weekend. It was crazy.
What's interesting, did you, when you went out, when you was a freshman anymore, did this beating to the other?
No, I didn't. No, at that point I changed to another school. So like, I didn't partake in it, but I don't know if they still had it, but that was a thing that people, like, it was planned. Like even like my brother, I think he went to that same school as well. That happened to him. Like, it's a thing that happens.
It has to happen.
Yeah, it has to happen. But you know, I'm talking about you, as soon as you get to that grade, you already know somewhere this will happen. Because this will happen to all your other brothers or all your other, people in the neighborhood.
That's crazy.
Crazy. So I understand. Yeah. Fighting.
I mean, it was that time back then. And then I got older, and then at some point I realized, I'm black. Because like all the people you see is my skin color. Like, and then I got much more in touch with my black side. So I also got reintroduced to my dad when I was like 6 or 7. So he showed, because when they split up, my mom just fled from him because they had like the struggles. Then after 4 to 5 years, I got in touch with him again. And then he brought me to Belgium, to France, to my relatives, and then he showed me like the Congolese culture. Like I remember, like every weekend we went to Belgium, to Brussels, to Matonge. It's like a place where only Congolese people live and reside and eat and celebrate and everything. So you go in there, it's like Africa, bro.
Wow.
You go into I can remember it was like a small mall. Then you had the restaurants, you had the barber shops, and they all smoked, like sat there and smoked. So we went through the fog, and then had like back then had a big afro, and then they did like my hair and everything. This was crazy, bro. It was like real Africa. So he showed me like my black side, where I'm coming from, so to speak. So this was like it's a good memory. Also the music, Koffi Olomide. So he was a big fan of him, of course. And every time when I was at his place, he remarried like a woman from Gabon, my stepmom. Also have like they have 2 kids, like my 2 siblings. And every time I had to go to the Afro shop and buy the VHS cassettes of Koffi Olomide. That was a thing back then. Like, bro, all day the video. You came home to my dad's place, the video was in, and everybody's dancing. Or like from the mornings into the evening.
Wow.
Like all day see those videotapes. Like this crazy. Then you go to my uncle's house, like a good friend of my dad. Same thing. Like everybody was listening to Koffi Olomide, the new dances. Like my cousin, he went on the table and he started to dance when he was like 7, 8 years old.
That is
a different mentality.
Dope.
Yeah. So it was like really, really good to experience, to see this, which was like always, like when you come to my dad's home, it's always someone there, always someone from Africa, someone from France, someone from Madagascar, someone from Italy, someone from, you never know, like so much family. And then all of a sudden I come to my dad's place, they're like, he has like I don't know, back then 65 square meter apartment, and there were like 20 people. Yeah, they sleep at our place. I'm like, how? We make some room. Like they sleep on the floor. He's important. He's the oldest. He sleeps on the couch. And then I remember like one time they had like some family over there. Like I think like 15 people or so. The whole living room was completely full. Everybody was asleep. And then the oldest one, he was like putting in some porn. And he was like, let's watch porn. I was like, "How, bro? There are kids here. I mean, they're sleeping
in front of everybody."
Yeah. And then you put it on, and I remember the kid. He was like 7. He was like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "Go back to sleep." I'm like, "Bro, you cannot do this." And also my dad's also like crazy guy, because I remember one story of him, because he likes to prank people. I know it's his thing. I know, like completely, he's completely delusional. Like for example, sometimes I took a nap after school, and then I woke up, and then I was like, why is my mouth tasting so bad? And then he was cracking up. He was dying. He was like, I was like, what's wrong? I put salt in your mouth. I'm like, why? Why? I mean, like, how can you, like, I mean, why? It's like, it's just fun. It's just fun. And in Congolese, they have like a specialty, like a head sheep.
Wow.
And then I was asleep. In the midst of the night, he turns on the light. Norman, look at this. He shows me the head of a sheep.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm like scared, everything. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? I was like, never mind, go back to sleep. Turns out the light. And I'm like this.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, why? I'm like, come on, bro. Why are you even?
That is funny, yo. That I don't know. That's like because my dad used to he used to just wrestle sometimes. I'll be getting some food and he just start wrestling, like really wrestling, and like throw me this. I'm like, yo, I'm just trying to eat a box of cereal. What's going? It's 9 a.m. in the morning. What's going on? Just wrestle. He's like, I gotta really wrestle. I gotta like. And my mom just like, stop. He's like, no, come on. He has to know.
He has to know. 9 a.m. in the morning. He has to know. Come on, man.
I'm like,
fight back.
I'm just getting my body tested. I don't even got enough nutrients in my body to fight back. I'm like, look, you have a head start. You had coffee and a bagel. What are you doing?
Bro, like crazy. Then I remember one thing. We were it was Christmas Eve,
yeah,
and then the whole family, like from my dad's side, we were sitting in the living room. My dad is like passionate videographer. Like he filmed everything.
Oh.
He also has a tape of me from 1 to 18. He's like he loves that shit. Wow. And then he was like, yeah, I have a new video tape. Let's check it out. And he put in the videotape. And in the first 5 seconds, you see him with other woman back in the days, and she was naked on a bed, and he was filming her in front of all the family. He jumped up, went to the VHS machine, and was like, cancel it. And my stepmom was just like this.
Your dad was the first porno director.
Yeah,
he had a side job. It's like, yo, why my dad all these BMWs?
Bro, he was ruthless. Even like we invited like friends, and they're like also Africans, but from the Muslim part of Africa. I think from Guinea or so, Togo. I forgot. And then he's a good chef, so he made some food. And then he was like, hey, taste this. No shit. It was not sorry that. And they eat, and then he's cracking up. And I'm like, what, Dad? This was pork. I'm like, wow.
Whoa. I bet they were going crazy.
Yeah.
I bet it was
And everybody's like, why? And he's the only one who finds it funny. Like he lives in his own world. He's like, but it's funny, guys, right? I was, no, it's not that. It's religion. It's holy. It's like you can't. I mean, why?
No wonder why you're a comedian. Okay, yeah. That would put somebody into comedy real fast. Having a dad who's pranking people like that. That is
like ruthless pranks. Even not even like it's not even funny. Like at this time, nobody laughed except him.
I mean, because I mean, it's funny in hindsight, but at the moment, it'd be like, whoa, what's gonna happen now?
Yeah.
Like this is crazy.
And nobody. It's crazy, bro. My dad's like, even like I also told the story on stage one time. My dad, if you want something, he gets it. Like, for example, in our culture, it's like the Congolese culture, it's mandatory to get circumcised, right?
Mm-hmm.
So one time when I got introduced to him, he was like, hey, let's get to my place, to Stuttgart, but we can go to amusement park. So Fantasia, and he was like, yeah, let's go to amusement park. It's a surprise for you. And I was like, yeah, let's go. And then I ended up in a hospital and I got circumcised. It was like the expectations were like having fun. having fun. A good time with my dad. Didn't see him for a long time. And the first thing he does when he got to reintroduce to myself is like, get me first things first. Enter the hospital. Registers mine under a false name, and then I end up on the surgery table. Look at this. He's still not sleeping. Put some more in him. I'm out. Wake up. I have like pain in my crouch. And I'm like, what happened? And then a kid from next to me laying in bed, he came up to me, he took my data, and he was like, oh, you got circumcised, bro? I'm like, what is this circumcised thing? I cut off your penis. I was like, huh? And then my dad came, hey, you just have to stay here 3 nights. I will come back. I was like, where are you going? Bro, you won't go anywhere. You have to sleep next to my side. I'm only 6 years old, man.
Dog. Yo.
Bro, ruthless. African dads are different, bro.
Dog, I don't even know if that's an African thing or something else, bro. Cause that is some crazy. That is a lot of trauma layered in that one situation,
bro.
From you thinking you about to go to the amusement park and you even if you knew where you was going, still traumatizing. What and then leave you there alone after? What? He probably didn't even give you a hug after all that.
No, he was like, just good job.
He just tapped you on the shoulder. Yeah, good job, sport.
See you on Monday.
See you on Monday. Yeah, keep your head up. Wow, that's.
I was really traumatizing back then. Back then, I was really angry, really, really angry.
As you should. I'm surprised you still have any love for your father still, man. I would have been like, yo, what?
Bro, I mean, because I told him like also afterwards, I was like, when I was older, I was like, you just could have like make up a story. I don't know. If you get circumcised, God favors you. I don't know, something, or you're a man. Only real men are circumcised. Something.
Right.
Just like, and afterwards you get a big surprise. Then you have like some motivation, but not like we go to the amusement park, and then I'm like, but Dad, this is not the way to the amusement park. Yeah, it's a new one. And then we were like in front of the hospital, and I was like, what are we doing here? Then I was like, yeah, we have to handle some business here.
Who got to handle some business?
And then the doc is like, what's his name? His name is Cedric. I'm like, huh? My name is Pshh. Yeah. Okay, then we're getting ready. I'm like, ready for what? You have to get naked. Why? You have to lay on this table. But why? I'm getting the shot. Why do I feel so sleepy? Out.
Bro, for you to get a circumcision under a false name, yo, there's so many layers. Yo, you probably hate anyone with the name Cedric now, yo.
Traumatized.
Traumatized. There's so much
Single tear came out of his eye.
Yeah. Cedric, who the fuck is Cedric?
Where is he? Why are you crying? I'm not crying.
Why you holding your privates? Don't worry about it. These are mine.
Bro, I have endless stories about my dad. For example, one time I came home, like to my dad's place, and I have like a sister, little sister, and little bro. And my little sister was home alone. She was like 4 at that time. And I was like, where's everybody? She was like, Mom is at work and Dad, he just left. I'm like, left where? I don't know. He packed his suitcase and left. I'm like, what suitcase? He told me he will be right back. And then my stepmom came from work. She was like, hey, where's your dad? I was like, I don't know. My brother came. He was like, where's dad? I don't know. So we didn't know where our father was for like 2 or 3 days. And then he called. And I was like, where are you? I am in Bangkok.
So random. What are you doing in Bangkok, bro? What?
Like, why? Like, and my sister to this day, she told me the story again. She was like, when I was younger, I didn't know, because he was like, yeah, I'll be right back, sweetie. She's like, why are you packing your suitcase? Yeah, I just have to handle some business. And I was like, I'm familiar to that.
Anytime somebody said they handling business, like, you're leaving, or you about to circumcise somebody?
Someone.
Or you about to cut somebody off? Literally.
Like, literally. And then he was in Bangkok. I'm like, what the fuck you doing in Bangkok?
That is so random.
Yeah, I have to do some business. I want to do some, I don't know what he wanted to do. Like, he was like, yeah, you can buy some cheap clothes there. You can bring it to Germany and we can resell them there and stuff. And so
did that even work out?
No, not at all, bro.
What are you doing in Bangkok?
I just went to Bangkok.
What? Just to go.
Just to go.
Well, what? If I'm going to China, I'm telling everybody, like, right? Hey, look, I'm here. This is where I'm going. He just went on a whim.
And also not on a short notice, because like my stepmom, she was like, all right, watch the kids. I go to work. All right, bye. And he didn't even tell my stepmom. He just, because everybody thought like, okay, he's watching my little sister.
Right.
And she was home alone. And he went to Bangkok.
That is... Yo, your dad is something. Yo, your dad's a different person, bro.
Bro, he's like a real artist. He's also like a painter. He paints like really nice.
He paints good?
Yeah, really good.
Okay. There you go. He's an artist. Okay, he's an artist that paints well. Anytime you see an artist that does very well, especially with painting and or cooking, the way to handle personal life is...
And he drinks a lot, like all African
dads. Okay, so you got the Guinness, the whiskey.
Yeah, the whiskey. Scotch. Loves whiskey, and Leffe is like a Belgium strong beer. Has like more percentages than the average beer. Yeah, what he was drinking all the time. But he took it too far because back then I didn't realize that he's like an alcoholic because he was like drinking every day. Like, but this is like a normal thing in Africa. Like every time when I went to different households, African households, like everybody was drinking beer. I don't know if it's the same for you, but I went to my uncles, to friends, for friends. Norman, can you get us please some beer? Here's the money.
Guinness and this night.
Yeah, then you have to go out in the midst of the night and find them some beer. And then at some point he had a liver.
Of course.
What's it called?
The cirrhosis or something?
Cirrhosis.
Yeah, the scarring of the liver.
Yeah, because he drank too much. And he told me like, if he drinks, he gets creative and then he can paint. So this was like his inspiration. He called it Slim Fast. You know Slim Fast back then? The diet thing?
Slim called Slim Fast.
He was always like, I need my Slim Fast right now. And he hid it like in a suitcase, in a small one, because my stepmom didn't allow him to drink.
Yeah.
And for me, back then, when I was a kid, it was a game. I was like, okay, haha, funny.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize that it's like this, it's bad for him, actually. But he pulled it through. He drank all the time because he couldn't help himself.
Man, probably didn't even drink water either.
No, bro.
Probably just drink
Always like vodka. He had like a whole vodka bottle. He drinks by himself.
Ooh, so your dad was drinking.
Yeah, I was really drinking. And I didn't realize. And I always gifted him liquor for his birthday when I was like 15, 16, without realizing. Because I was so much used to it that he drank alcohol, and he wasn't like violent or nothing. He was just in his zone and laughing all the time, telling his stories, because my dad's like the only guy that I know he talks with sound effects. I don't know if there's like this every time when he tells a story, and then I was boom, and then boom. He was like really like yeah, and but I think I have like my artist side from my dad, because he's like really artsy, because he was not the regular African dad, because back then I told my dad I want to have earrings left and right. He was like, yeah, go for it.
Whoa, that ain't no regular.
Because all my other friends, African dads, they were like, you can't have no earrings, you can't dye your hair blonde, because I did my hair blonde and had a Nike symbol here, and my dad like always cut my hair and did some crazy things with my hair.
Oh wow!
And I could do it like everything, like every clothing, every earrings, and all my friends, they were like, what's wrong with your dad? Like, if I would do this, my dad would kill me and say, you're gay.
Yeah.
You cannot be gay. Oh, you gay?
That is a definitely African thing, man. Yeah, I want to have my ears pierced. My mom was like, what? Yeah. She's like, you bore a hole inside your ear? I was like, nah, just pierced it. She's like, you put a hole inside your ear? I was like, yeah, dude. She's like, what?
You have to go to church.
Yeah, she was just judging me. She was like, wow, like, why? Why? Yeah.
Yeah, so this was a crazy uprising with my dad. Yeah.
Man, but I mean, good to hear though, with all that you still got connected to your African side, because I feel like, especially at a young age too, because like there's so many things in African culture that happens when you're young, like the dancing, the music. Those things are like, I mean, there's a reason why African
and the food.
people can get food, spicy food. So you.
It's pili pili. I don't know if you have the same thing. It's like a pepper, like this big, and it's really hot, like really, really hot. And they process it, and then it's like an
oil.
Yeah, kind of oil of like peppers in it.
Yeah,
and they put it on your food every time.
Or sometimes they just mix in a whole stew, and then you got to eat it, and that's spicy. The food's good, but it's spicy. Like damn.
Yeah, it's a difference. So this is what I came up with, and it was like I said, the three identities were like really weighing on me, because I really didn't know: am I German? Am I Iranian? Am I Congolese? How can I like integrate to a one identity? And then at some point I was like, okay, I'm everything. Like when I'm with Iranians, I'm Iranian. If I'm with African people, I'm more African. And when I'm with German people, I'm more German. Because when I like on vacation and I meet different guys or people, they're always like, wow, you're so German, bro. Like, because for example, I went to Thailand, I met a guy from the UK, also a Nigerian dude. And then we wanted to go to the airport and go to the southern part of Thailand. Then I was like, bro, we have to be there 1 hour earlier. I don't want to miss the flight. He was like, bro, chill, bro.
Yeah, especially to an African person. Yeah, young African person too. Yeah,
they're like, oh, bro, chill. You're so German, bro. Why you want to be on time so bad?
Like, yeah, because I don't want to miss the flight.
I paid for it, right?
Right, yeah, the money's expensive.
Like, bro, again, so German.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Wow, man. So yeah, you definitely. I'm glad you're talking about this because it's really like a third culture thing. You know, I mean, you went through multiple cultures, like in ways that, I bet like you probably take a lot from that, like in terms of who you are now, the things that you do. I mean, like obviously you're part of a collective that you mentioned earlier. You also have another one too, right? Another
a podcast.
Yeah, a podcast, right?
Podcast, yeah, I have a podcast. It's called, like, if you translate it, it's Integrated His Father.
Integrated His Father.
Because in Germany, in the German language, it's a slang thing. It's called Integriert sein Vater. It means like, because, for example, if you see a rich person, then the younger generation says like, he's rich. Ist reich sein Vater. So he's richer than his dad, so to speak. And this became like a term. And then I was like, yeah, let's use this slang term to say integriert sein Vater. Because like this is an all-black podcast. And they had the idea in the mountain of Portugal. I was in the southeast of Portugal, sitting up in the mountains. And then I thought about like, what can I do like to do some content, some different things, to show a different side of me. And then it came up with the podcast idea, and now we are going strong for 2 years, I think.
Nice, bro.
We just achieved 3K on YouTube last week. Yeah.
Nice, congrats on that, bro.
Thank you, man. Yeah, it was
nice, man.
Long way coming, bro.
Yeah,
I mean, you know what the challenges are. Like,
yeah, YouTube hard, bro.
Yeah, bro. The editing, then the money you spend and everything, but it's worth it. It's nice being like one of the only black podcasts in Germany and in German also.
Yeah. That's dope, man. So I have a question for you. A lot of black people from America, they always want to travel to Europe, but they don't know what places to travel to in Europe. What are like the top places you have traveled to, you being a black person here in Europe?
Portugal's nice. Portugal's like one of the best places. Like, I don't know, maybe because I have like a certain energy, but when I went to Portugal, I have had no sign of racism at all. Like nothing. Like, for example, we went through the woods. We went the wrong directions. We didn't know where we are. And then we ended up in a village. And I was so fucking hungry. So I went just to a place, to some people. I was like, hey, sorry, I don't want to disturb, but do you know a place to food? Because they don't speak English. So you have to talk with your hands and everything. Then one guy said, yeah, I speak English. Just wait. I call my cousin. Then he calls his cousin. He came by car, stopped in front of us. He was like, get in the car, get in the car. He brings you to some place. And my German side was like, I'm not getting in this car.
Your German side, your whole Western culture, watching movies. It's like, what?
I don't want to die.
Man.
And the driver had a black eye like this.
Oh, what? Wow. That's for sure a kidnap right there.
And I was like, okay, bro. First of all, what happened to your eye? Your uluas or something in Portuguese. And then he was like, toro. I'm a toro.
Oh,
crazy. So you do the torero thing and stuff. And I was like, yeah. So the toro hit my eye. So I fell down or something. So get in the car, come, don't be scared. And I looked at my friend. He's also German. He's like, but he's like really open-minded. He trusts everyone. He's like, oh, come on, let's go. I was like, okay, at least we died together.
At least I have a partner in death.
And then they brought us to a place we could like to an all-you-can-eat buffet for like, I don't know, 6-7 euros or so. So it was really, really nice, really friendly people. If you ask them something, they show you around. They're really proud of their country, and then they want that you have a good experience in Portugal. So it was really nice. We did the surfing thing. So I tried this. I stood one time on the board for 10 seconds. I was like, I did it! Portugal's nice. What else? Spain. I like Spain. You've been to Spain, right?
Yeah, I've been to Spain.
The south of Spain.
South I need to go to, yeah.
Alicante, Malaga. I like very much. Barcelona's also nice. What else? Italy. Italy's nice, but a lot of racism, in my opinion. Like, also back then, I was like, because we went on a school trip to Italy, and then there was like a lot of people look weird at you because Italians are known for racism, and also like it's crazy. I went to Milan, no, not Milan, Rome, with my family, my Iranian side family, and all the street vendors are black, right? They all try to sell you stuff, and the crazy thing is like all the black people ask me for drugs. Or if I want to have drugs or do I have drugs. I'm like, bro, you black, I'm black. I mean, you came from Africa, you live in Italy, you're a street vendor. Why are you asking me for drugs?
Yeah.
It's such a cliche, you know?
Right. It's like, come on, don't perpetuate the stereotype. Ask some of my family members. Come on.
Someone else, man. So Italy has nice food. I mean, if you, as an American, you come through and you just travel around, I would do like, because I'm a beach type of guy. So Portugal's one of my favorite. Spain is nice. Also, I've been to Croatia. Croatia's really nice. Yeah, this also people really, really friendly. Like Croatia, Montenegro, Serbia, Bosnia. It's also a really good place to be, especially in the summer.
Summertime.
Bro, it's like you're in the Caribbean or so.
Wow.
If you go to Croatia, they also have festivals and stuff, and they have a lot of beaches. Yeah.
All right, gotta check that out.
Or Albania. Like one good friend of mine is from Albania, and he shows me also always videos and pictures. Also, secret travel experience, because you never think of going to Albania.
Right.
Because it's not that common destination to go to.
Yeah, it's like because we got perception of Eastern. Like that's not Eastern. That's like Southeast, right?
That's Balkans.
Yeah, the Balkans. There's like so many people think bad about the Balkans sometimes. And it's always good to hear people that traveled and had a good time. And it is what it is, man. Like as a black person too, because there's racism that still happens in these countries. So people are kind of shy from going to some of the places they may assume are have people that are racist, or places that just have people that are racist towards black people. So it's just good to hear like, hey, is either not, or hey, be careful.
Yeah, but the Balkans are not really, as I didn't experience so much racism. They're more open. They're like, a black person, nice. So they're like really try to get in touch with you, and I say, hey, you know basketball. It's like positive racism, kind of, but they don't. In my opinion, it didn't felt like in a bad way. Yeah. They just, because they see black guys in TV, they maybe in their football team, there's some black guys. So they got to used to it a little bit more. And so they're happy to see a black guy. So I was like, nice. So where are you from? America? And I know Germany?
So it adds like a whole thing. Yeah. And then also too, you bring up something that's like energy. I think it's also important to have like good energy. I know that sounds like a cliche of being like, just all about the energy, not about race, but I think energy is also important because like, being here in Germany myself, I haven't really experienced racism. I mean, maybe as soon as I leave Berlin, who knows?
Yeah, I mean, Berlin is really open and everything. I mean, if you go to the eastern part of Berlin, maybe people look strange at you. But there's so many black guys playing football in the national team and in the whole Bundesliga. So the people are used to it, not like in the 90s or 2000s, where like the people look at you different and talk to you different and stuff. But still, you have racism, but it's on a different level, I think, in Germany. For example, I was invited, or I had a request to host a horse race for a betting TV station, so to speak.
Oh, wow, nice.
So I did this once, and then the guy who was in charge of everything, he was like, bro, I really like your style. You bring a new flavor to this whole boring horse racing type of shit. So I want you to host like a show. So I hosted like one show, and everybody was like, yeah, I did a good job, even because I didn't know a lot of about horses, you know?
Yeah.
Like nothing, to be honest.
Very specific.
Yeah. But I was like, yeah, new endeavors, get out your comfort zone, learning new things, nice. And then he was like, yeah, I did a good job, so you can work once or twice a month, get good money and everything. I was like, okay, nice. And then all of a sudden, after my first job, 3 weeks later, he wrote me a big email. It was like, bro, yeah, unfortunately, we have to terminate the contract because, yeah, I don't know how to say, but the people have decided, so to speak, you know, they're really old, traditional and conservative and stuff. And then he tried to describe it like, he was not on the point. He was what he wanted to say is like, hey, the people here, they don't want to see a black guy hosting their horse racing event. It's not fitting. It's not the right fit. But they're really old school. I really like you. I want you to do that. But they told me like they don't want to like work with you. This is what he wanted to say, but he described it like completely differently.
Yeah, corporate.
Yeah, corporate. Yeah, I said it corporately, yeah, so to speak. So, so on these levels, I sometimes experience like racism. Like if you go to certain productions, and then they're like, yeah, but he's black. It doesn't fit to our, I don't know, concept or our whatsoever. And I think this is like the kind of racism that I experience nowadays.
Yeah, that happens in entertainment, even in America as well.
Okay.
Yeah. But so one last question I'd like to ask you, and I'd like to ask everyone about this, is that you've been through a lot of different cultures. I mean, we only just touched a little bit of it. I bet you probably even have more, but I think the childhood part is very important because it is foundational, you know, and also I'm a lot of kids, even myself too, have been through certain things as a third culture kid, but you went through culture, German culture, Congolese culture, Iranian culture, you know, even culture through other different like cultures in the neighborhoods you were in. And what would be an advice you give to your younger self, you know, going through that time?
It's a good question, man. I don't know. Like back then, I think we just more chill about everything. Don't be too hard on yourself. Also, like embrace the cultures that you have because you're special. You're not like everyone else. You don't have to fit in some average, mediocre thing. Just express yourself how you want to express. Don't copy anyone else. Just embrace the cultures that you have. I mean, you have nice and big cultures that you can embrace. You have the Iranian, Persian culture, you have the African culture, and the German culture. And it's some kind of a blessing to experience all of the culture. So be proud of it. Don't be ashamed. I think this is this advice I would give my younger self, because I really was like in a cringe situation always, because like I said, when they called my name, my first name is Norman, and it's a pretty German-ass name. It's like if you translated the man from the north. It's an old traditional German name, you know. And then my last names are Iranian, like people think it's Arabic, you know. And so nothing fits, you know. I look like an American, but I'm half Iranian, half Congolese. Then I have a German first name, you know, and when I'm speaking English, I have a German accent, you know.
so many
like cringe things. And I just would say, like, embrace your cultures, because God gave you a gift, so to speak, because you have the gift to experience different perspectives of cultures in life. So this thing is advice I would give myself.
That's some good advice though, man. That's a good advice even in today's time too.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, so hopefully people take away with that. And bro, thank you very much for sharing your stuff, bro. Thank you, bro.
Thanks for the invite.
Yeah,
it's a blessing. It was
no
nice.
problem. Thank you, man. And guys, thank you very much for listening and or watching to the Third Culture Talk podcast. I'm your boy, Nyan Yenifin. See you guys in the next one. Peace.
Gang.